Hello, everyone, and welcome to Freestyle TV, one of the last episodes of 2021. Uh, I'm Peke Piirto, and here with me, my very good friend Daniel Rosenblum. Daniel, what's up?
Hey Peggy, good to see you again, man. I mean, it wasn't that long ago I saw you, but it's still good to see you. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I was just realizing, man, the year went so fast. I can't believe it's already the end of the year. It felt like we just had Super Bowl and then bam, Red Bull Street Style, and so many things happened. So yeah, I think we have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, Daniel, to get this episode started, apparently people are not seeing your image. So
Okay,
I don't know. I don't see you either, but maybe just like
okay.
earlier,
What
you
we do
appear
is what we
from the
do is
darkness.
you entertain the crowd for a few minutes. I'll go in and out, and I'll be right back.
No, 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 no. Now you're back. Now you're back. Now it's working. Don't go anywhere.
Technology, technology.
Yeah. What could we do without it? Anyways, today we have probably the most interesting episode of the year. At least the guests are literally the best freestylers in the world.
Yes. For sure, yeah. I mean, it is a bit of an introduction because there's many good freestylers in the world. But I think if you win Rebel Street Style, yeah, you're the world champion. So there's always this discussion like who's the real world champion? Is it Super Bowl? Is it Rebel Street Style? But in the case of Ireland, he's won it all, so it doesn't even matter, does it? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, it's really nice. I mean, as I said, like Ireland is, he won everything, and he was kind of expected that he was going to win it, but expecting is one thing, and then doing it is another thing. And yeah,
Yeah.
Leah, of course, was a bit of a surprise for a lot of people that she won the
Mm,
tournament. Um, but not for me. I predicted it. I predicted it. But we
yeah,
can talk
yeah.
about it more later. But yeah, I'm really happy that we have not just two great freestylers, but also a fantastic judge, Javi from Spain, in the show. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited, man.
And and I was thinking it's funny because this is the champions episode, uh, and we have Javi, who was a judge at Red Bull Street Style, but he is also like multiple times Spanish champion. So champions everywhere. Uh,
That's it. I think
anyways,
4 times. We ask him later. I think he's 4 times Spanish champion. I'm not sure.
yeah. I mean, and the Spanish level, anyways, is uh, very high. Sometimes I kind of don't realize how good the Spanish freestylers are. I mean, we think about Javi, world class freestyler, but then there's whoever who has won the Spanish championship after him. They're also amazing.
Yeah. You mean like Alvaro and people like
Yeah,
that? Yes.
Alvaro and then Sergio and well, I'm not 100% sure if Sergio won the Spanish championship ever, but
Not
I
sure,
know
but there's many
he's
guys.
good.
We have Joan, and we have
Yes, yes.
Moa. There's many good freestylers there. But I have a question to you, like regarding Rebel Street Style. If there's one battle for you that just sticks out like that of Rebel Street Style, do you have any battle in mind before we ask the judges and the players? Like, what's your favorite battle?
From the world final, you mean?
Yes, from the World Final.
Yes, I do have some battle in my mind. I just need to think about. I have actually a couple.
Yes,
Uh, I think uh, Jesse against Jay.
yes.
Uh, that was like, was it the first battle even? No, or was it? Might have
I
been.
think it was top 16 battle. Yes, it was the
It
first
was top
battle.
16.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was like the first round, anyways. Um, That was a super duper good battle. Then Brynjar against Poikka, outstanding battle. But the best battle, I think it was. I'm pretty sure Jesse was on it also, or then Poikka. But now my mind is.
But Boyka versus Brynjar was incredible. It's
Yeah.
one of those battles that it's going to be good. That's the only way.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to David Freestyle who cleared us out that Sergio has never won a Spanish championship, but has came second like 3 times.
Oh,
So,
okay.
bit of a Charlie syndrome there.
Charlie syndrome. Yeah. Oh.
But now I remember. Maybe the best battle in Red Bull Street Style I think was Leah against Joanna.
Oh,
Because
yes.
the heat was just so much there,
Yes. Yes,
Like,
you could feel it. It was hanging in the air. Yes.
and you know why? Because of the community aspect. Someone who was like some random people who came into Red Bull TV to watch the battle, they didn't know. They didn't know what
No.
we know, because what we saw there was like a clash between the French Joanna,
Yes.
everyone knows her, Leah, who just shot to the stars all of a sudden from the
Yes.
neighboring country.
Who
They
speaks
battled
French?
in-
She speaks French also.
Yeah, and they battled in Super Bowl, 3-2 battle. It's Red Bull Street Style, 3-2 battle again. So that was
You know
really
what I
good.
liked? You know what I liked the most about the women competition is it
Yeah.
doesn't matter who you ask, Augushka, Melody, Leah, the top one. They always say, "Oh, it doesn't matter who I battle." Of course, it matters. It matters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if Augushka doesn't want to beat Melody every single time, of course she wants to. She
Yeah.
probably has nightmares about it. You know what I mean? It's like.
Yes.
But
man.
they're always so friendly. They're always so nice. They're always like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I just want to have fun. And I'm like, oh, you're such a bad liar. You want to win everything. Yeah, it's really funny.
But some people compete for fun. Why
Yes.
not?
Yes.
But at that level,
No.
at the World Championship, you compete to win, and that's how it should be, kind of.
Yes, yes,
Of
yes.
course, there's people who smash stuff when they lose their battles. It's the emotion. Of course, the emotion is there, and then there's some people who are like, okay, this happened. Now I lost. Not a big deal, but.
Yes.
But I'm kind of happy about the emotion that I see, the reactions when people win, and that's what I'm going to ask the champions today is the emotion and the reaction. Like how does it feel? Because
Yes.
I just literally can't imagine the feeling, after winning something like that.
No, me neither.
Anyways, quick shout out to people, everyone who's watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, you can comment in Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and we'll get all the comments. We'll try to answer most of them. Diego is asking, which online contest did you like the most? RBSS 2020 or 2021? Let's tackle this question and move on with the show.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Which online contest? Well, I must say I really liked Stage 4 last year when we had our friend Lorenzo hosting the Stage 4
Yeah.
last year. So for me, those live shows that we did on Facebook were kind of still my favorite, but I like them both. So yeah, what I really liked this year was the Rest of the World competition. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But if I'm really honest, I would give it 55% to last year. I enjoyed it
Yeah.
slightly more, but both were fun. So, yes.
I agree with you. I think last year the online part was kind of more exciting because
Yes.
it changed all the time. But of course, this year was so different and kind of uncomparable because everyone was battling to make it to the live stage at the final. So
Yes.
it's totally different ball game at that time.
Yes. And also last year was a bit long in a way. So it doesn't matter. Both were awesome.
Right. Um, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on with the show. Okay. So we're going to, before we let the champions in it, if you will, we have Javi who was talking. He was judging in Red Bull's Freestyle. Soon he'll be talking. And we're going to talk about the judging aspect with Javi. But just for the people who are not quite sure who Javi is, one video tells more than 1,000 words. So here we
Looking
Nice.
pretty good. Looking pretty good.
How you doing, guys?
We're good, man. We're
Good,
good. Happy
thanks.
to have you on the show, man. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for the invite.
So,
Uh,
before we start asking you questions, for the people that don't know you, like, who's Javi? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a football freestyler. I started more or less back in 2008. And since then, well, I've been competing. Now this year, not that much. I just moved to the judging thing. And well, since I started freestyle, I'm in love with lowers. Everybody knows. Like lowers for me is like part of my life because I used to train like hours and hours of lowers. But it doesn't mean that when I'm judging, I don't care about the rest of the things because, for example, I love the Japanese community. I had the opportunity to go to the JFFC back in 2018, and well, I fell in love with that competition, with the energy, with the way of enjoying the freestyle. Because I see that there, for example, in Japan, well, there is a different mindset compared to the rest of the world. And well, I must say that I'm a big fan of all Japanese freestylers in general, but also, well, Latin American and, well, the rest of the world.
Nice, man.
Amazing. One thing that I need to raise before we go talk about your duties this year as freestyler, what really like struck me was because we've seen each other so much in Super Bowls and in Södermeet, remember in the winter, and we're homies since like forever. But then when I came to Spain, I didn't even realize like how sick famous you are there.
Man, social media, social media. Well,
Yeah.
I started to create content back in,
Yeah.
I would say 2015, something like that.
Yeah.
And since then, I was like, well, mixing freestyle football and the social media thing, you know, YouTube, now TikTok, also Instagram.
Yeah.
So yeah, they know me here like a little bit.
Yeah. In the match when we went to see the Levante match, there was like some kids wanting to take pictures with you. And I was like thinking, you know, I know this guy. He's my friend.
Wow.
Anyways,
I have one question, actually. I have one question. Sorry,
Okay.
Pege. So,
no worries.
the transition from a freestyler to becoming a judge, did that just naturally evolve? Did you get invited, or are you still competing, or did you move on, or in what kind of phase are you right now?
Well, for example, I have to say that well, when I went to Super Bowl, my first Super Bowl was back in 2012, and one of the things that I like the most is just like judging with your friends the battles that you see. So when you are sitting down with in my case, the Spanish community, for example, with Jimmy, and watching all the battles and try to say before the decision is done, saying like, for me, this guy or this other guy. And I think that's how I train the judging thing, because I think everybody loves to see like the freestyle football and try to decide like by their own before the decisions are taken. So yeah, I've been competing for a long time, and well, I think the pandemic thing made me like to stop training in the competition way, because when you need to compete, when you are in your mindset, you have the competition, is completely different, and all the trainings are completely different. And I have to say that I enjoy now more the training than before, because now I do whatever I really want to do. I mean, I go for a training, and everything that I feel, I do it, I enjoy it, and I train. Before, when I used to compete and I got really focused on competing, I had to prepare all the trainings. All my freestyle football was thinking about how to go through different battles. So, of course, you improve a lot because you push your level to the limit.
Yes.
But I didn't enjoy it that much, and I think that's the reason why I decided to stop competing. And well, now I'm judging.
Yeah. Who
sense.
was the first to ask you to judge, or did you do the initiative? Were you telling Lucas that I'd like to judge?
No, one day Julio from Costa Rica, he reached me and asked me if I was interested in judging the Super Bowl. And well, for me it was like, seriously, I really wanted to do it for a long time, and yeah, I said yes, of course. And I think that was the first time I received information about that Julio was interested in me for judging. But my first competition that I judged, it was the FFC.
Oh,
Back
yes. Old school.
in, yeah, old school, back in 2016. I think it was
Right.
2016. And and at that time, Simon Atley from Denmark, of course, he asked me to go there to judge the competition, and that was my first time. I was a bit nervous because when you are not used to judge, you don't know the difference between sitting down just by your own and watching the competition and saying, okay, for me is this guy. But when you judge, you need to think about that. You need to give an answer or a response if the player comes to you and say why I didn't go through or why I went
Yes.
through. So you need to have an answer. So when you're judging, you need to think about that thing, and you need to say, okay, this guy goes through because this, or this. And
I find it personally, I've also judged a lot, and that's not always very easy because, for example, sometimes the pressure is very high. And on the tournament like Super Bowl, sometimes you know how it is. You judge 24 circles, and then someone comes to you, like some Polish guy comes to me and from circle 13, and he's like, "Oh, why was I third place? I did Jordan Stall, I did Aldo, I'm like, sorry, but it's not always easy, man. Sometimes
no, it's easy. But
yeah.
For example, in Super Bowl, I had a notes. So I used to take some notes, important notes at the end of each circle. So just thinking about that, a freestyler could come to me in, I don't know, 6 hours and ask me about that battle. So I had the notes after each circle just to say, okay, the reason why you didn't go through or you went through is because, and I don't know, you had, I don't know, not variety on your sets or whatever.
Yes.
But,
I think the fact that you all had a different category in this year's Red Bull Freestyle maybe made it a little easier.
Yeah, of course. Now
to remember at least.
Yeah, of course, to remember, because the battles were not that much as in Super Bowl. And I have to say that, for example, Super Bowl and Red Bull Freestyle, from the judging point of view, are completely different. I mean, because in Super Bowl, you need to judge everything. I mean, you need to take care of every aspect of the battle.
It's difficult, yes.
Of course. And in Red Bull Freestyle, you just need to focus on what you need to judge. In my case, it was execution. So, for example, in my case, I didn't care about the creativity. So, for me, if a freestyler like Brinjar or Ellen came with crazy ideas that for me were like, boom, like mind-blowing, I couldn't judge that thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Javi, I need to there's so much, I get fired up when talking about judging because like I would say the theme of 2021 has been judging. Like literally, we've talked so much about judging in the creativity episode, in Julio's special episode with Julio, of course, it's all about judging. But today is the champions episode. So the final question to you before we let you to the backstage is that what kind of things did you discuss with the head of judging, Julio, before Super Bowl and especially Red Bull Street Style, since the two are a little different?
With Julio from Costa Rica.
Yes.
Well, the thing is that before I judged, he gave me the WFFA PDF where is written all the rules, and you need to attach to that rules. So I just read that PDF to know how to judge, how to follow all the rules, and then maybe ask him some questions about some points. But that was the main thing. Like, here you have the PDF. Yes. You need to read this thing, and if you don't understand a thing, just let me know, and we discuss about this.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. Like, a lot of people don't read it because I noticed. Yeah. I mean, we can talk about this for hours, but I noticed that a lot of the competitors actually do not read the rules.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is a bit of a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we need to follow some path, and that's the path that we follow to judge. So if you are competing, you need to know how we are gonna judge, and yeah, it's very important. Like, for example, I know that some of the people in the Red Bull Street Style, they didn't know that we were judging some categories. Yes. So it's like they were saying like, why, for example, Javi voted for this guy, and it's yes. Like, okay, I'm judging execution. For example, if I had the situation of being in Super Bowl, maybe the decision would be different, you know. But judging execution, you need to judge just that thing.
Yes, and we reminded them like 12 times, but yeah.
Yeah, but
anyway, it's time for some freestylers, I would say.
Just real quick, because we want to support everyone who keeps commenting. Could you answer this real quick? So David Freestyle is asking, what judging do you prefer, RBSS or Super Bowls one? Do you think one of those is more fair than the other, or doesn't it really matter? Just a real quick answer, please.
Well, very quick, I prefer Super Bowl. Because we judge in general. I mean, we take care of every aspect of the battle. So, nothing else to add.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Okay, excellent. Thanks so much, Javi. We'll see you later with the champions. But it's time to bring in, actually, should I say, oh my goodness, the GOAT of freestyle.
Oh, yeah. Making it look easy as always.
Erlen, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God. Do you know why I think that clip is so extraordinary? Because you can actually see you fail a little, like just after the combo. You can say, you can see that you
tried pushing the upper world.
It's like
it's like a proof that you're a human.
Yeah, we're all human.
Yes, exactly. Oh my goodness! Just real quick, something that I was thinking about in shower today actually was that Erlen, will you ever compete in like challenge or SIP 3 or something like that?
Very good question. I was actually thinking of doing it this year in Super Bowl, but I was struggling a bit with my knee, so I didn't want to risk it for the battles.
Right.
But we'll see next year. I want to do it at least. So we'll see.
Okay.
Imagine if he wins that as well.
Yeah. Let's. I mean, just for the well-being of all of us, let's not even try to think about think about that far. So Erlend, you won Super Bowl and Red Bull Street Style this year. How do you feel right now? Now it's December. Yeah, Christmas coming. Double World Championship in the pocket again. How do you feel?
I feel very good. I have taken 2 weeks off now after competitions, so just trying to do different stuff, just to not always think about freestyle, which I think is I think it's healthy to take a break and then come back to it, because I think then it will be more interesting for me. Maybe I will get a different view, and so I was really happy with how Red Bull Street Style went, both for myself but also for everyone else. The event was so good, and it's so cool to be a part of it, and that it went so well when I put so much work into freestyle.
Do you think that I had this year quite of a special feeling at Red Bull Street Style? I think in two different ways. First of all, I think the Spanish freestylers were amazing. You know, the guys at the front, they were screaming, they were creating the atmosphere, and it really made me think like just 50 people can make such a difference. You know what I mean? There was like 50 or 100 people going absolutely mental in every combo, and there were freestylers and they were cheering at the right moment, and it really lifted the atmosphere in the room. I really enjoyed it. I don't know how it was for you, while being on stage.
Yeah, definitely. It was such an energy boost. When I was backstage the hours before, I was feeling okay, a bit in energy saving mode, and just maybe not that hyped actually. But when we went to the stage for the introduction, just to show our faces and hearing the audience and the energy. It was it completely switched my mood. I was so hyped after that, and every battle for me, it was such a good feedback from the audience, and just to have a really good freestyle community in the audience, which is hyped, is so good for a competition.
I think that is absolutely true, and it makes me super happy, because I kind of think, if you think about some, rock star like Lenny Kravitz, huge rock star, and when he goes to a show, there's a lot of people, right? But if the people wouldn't react, to his gestures, to his songs, it would be all so lame, right? And that would be embarrassing, straightly said it. But the freestylers who come to the competitions like Red Bull Street Style and Super Bowl, then people like you, you're not really celebrating or doing any funky stuff, outside the battles, but they fire you up on the stage, don't you think?
Yes, definitely they do. They give us a lot of energy.
And the second point that actually I wanted to talk about is, how do you look at your competition? Do you think it was stronger than other years? Or if you look at your own level and the other people's level, let's say the Jesses, the Boykas, the Brynjars, your biggest competitors, how do you think you stand with them? Are you really confident you can beat them every time? Or do you get not too sure, how does that work for you?
Well, of course, you can never be sure to beat a freestyler that is that high level, and almost everybody in top 16 have the potential to beat everyone else, because it's a lot about how your shape is on the day. But at the same time, often the chances are significantly higher for the other freestyler to win, of course, and. I don't know. I felt really good during Red Bull Street Style. I'm not sure if I have felt that good ever before in a competition. So it was really, really good for me. I felt like I could show almost my best every battle. So yeah, and I also yeah, of course, it's really always difficult to battle against freestylers like Boyka and Jesse. You really have to do your best and reply and be in the moment. And again, it is the world final, so of course it has to be tough, and
Yes.
it was, but and that's how it's supposed to be. But yeah, I ended up winning again.
Okay, before we take a look at the brackets and your road to the final and victory, Diago is asking, did you choose to train transition or did it just happen?
I would say it just happened actually, because when I was starting to think a bit about competitions, when I started in 2014 to try to become as good freestyler as possible, especially battle freestyler, I was thinking, okay, I have to do, for example, uppers, but I have to get to uppers, and I want to do that in a cool way, and then I want to do sit-downs, but of course I have to get to sit-downs, and I want to do that in a cool way as well. So it kind of just, I had to bridge every part of freestyle, and then it started to develop into a new style, I guess.
Okay. Quick follow-up question. Who freestylers have kind of inspired you in like you forming your own style? Because of course the Erlend style is something that people try to copy now, but who did you like look at when you created your own tricks and combinations and transitions and like that?
It was different freestylers, not just like one freestyler, which I was watching. Yeah. In the beginning, it was Tom Follen from England. That is maybe the reason I train outside, like Tosani and stuff.
Yes.
But
so he was
probably not transition.
No, I'm getting to that very soon. So yeah, that was like the lowest inspiration part, and then I started more all around. And in the beginning, like Shimo was a big inspiration. I really liked his style. Nice. He had really amazing style on every aspect, and also the creativity of Mikritz and also Luki has been a big inspiration, and many other freestylers as well. But it's hard to choose.
Well, I mean, those are some good freestylers to look up to. Here we have the battle grid from this year's World Finals, and there we see Erlend Markki on the right, and what a battle that was. I must say, Markki, wonderful freestyler. Like, I think he has maybe one of the fastest sit-downs, except now I think Becca from UK has the fastest sit-downs. But Markki, really, really high level, good all-round, some good signature moves. But the trick where you drop the ball on your face, started doing face wash, turning around and tying shoelaces while doing all that. I just remember Markki's like face. He was like,
yes.
Why is this happening to me? So, could you tell us a little about that battle?
Yeah, it was Markki. I know if he does his absolute best, he is a really hard opponent to beat, because he's really all around. He has good lowers, uppers, and his specialty is sit-downs, which is really strong, which he showed in the last round. He did some crazy stuff there. So I had to perform, but during the battle I also noticed Markki did a few more mistakes than usual maybe. And I had my first 2 rounds, or at least my first round was planned. I wanted to do like a solid lower combo and some transitions just to get started and feel the stage, and then kind of see how the battle turns out. And Yeah, the late streak. I guess I can. I guess everybody understands it was all planned because
Yes.
I have done it before as well, but not in front of such a big audience.
Yes.
And I was
So-
very
so-
surprised about the reaction actually.
No, but it's fun. This is freestyle as well. Like it's entertainment, you know. So it's perfect, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially,
Yeah.
I think the effect in Super Bowl maybe would have been less in Rebels Freestyle.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But there's one thing that I always wondered. I slightly touched on this with you. I asked you this after the competition because for me it always feels like during the battle you adapt your level to the level of the opponent. So it seems like you have. I think I used the word gear. Maybe you know, we talked about this before, where I said it looks like you have an extra gear, but it looks like you also do it the other way around. So when when the opponent doesn't have his best battle, I see you switching. I find that so impressive. Like you switch your level up and down within the battle. It's like a sprint. When the other guy slows down a little bit, you slow down a little bit with him. And then when they go better, you seem to go, okay, wait a second. I have to go up. I have to go to the. I find that so impressive. Is that something you do on purpose, or is that just that happens automatically, or how does that work?
Well, I do that. I think it's. I am conscious about it because,
Yes.
of course, when it's 4 battles, you want to have the best moves when it is really needed. So,
Yes.
if, for example, I have the last round and I'm very happy with my first 2 rounds, and the other freestyler maybe has dropped a bit more, then I want to save my best tricks for the next round. So, yeah.
That makes sense. Well, you
when
make
when
it
it-
seem really easy, but it's really difficult.
Yeah, but when we are getting to like semifinals and finals, there's not much point in saving because you just have
No.
to
Yeah.
go all in.
Okay. Well, then you faced. This was, by the way, really tight. Gabriel Park against Hero K, but Hero K
Yes.
won that this time. So you battled Hero K. Have you been? I don't remember. Have you ever battled against Hero K before?
No, I don't think
Okay,
so.
so right.
He
So,
was in Salvador, right, in 2014. He was there. He
Yeah,
competed.
but
Yeah.
I didn't battle him.
Right. Hero K, again, another fantastic freestyler. What could you tell us about that battle?
Actually, I kind of had sort of the same starting strategy there. I wanted to do like a good lower combo, which was having a lot of variation, or like a few variations, and like a solid first set. And I wanted to see how Hero K did it, and I had a few moves I had in my mind which I wanted to do for every round. I usually have that. For example, first round I want to do this trick, and then everything else just flows. And the second round I want to do that trick. So at least I have one trick I remember. So I did that, and it was maybe not the Hero K's best battle either, but he's such an amazing freestyler, and I loved watching him practice the day before. I think he's one of the most interesting freestylers to watch practice, and big respect to him. But in that battle, I felt pretty comfortable. Yeah.
I can totally see what you're saying,
Yes.
because it was like Hero K is a great freestyler, and I also enjoy watching his training. I think I watched watching his training more than his battles, but that was honestly really definite 5-0 victory. Okay, well, now 2 battles behind. Let's see. Markki, so semi-final. Goodness me. Here, unfortunately, just in the battle before, Brunier fell out of the competition. Otherwise, it would have been him. But In the semifinal, you faced Boika.
Yes.
Now we're getting to you could say status freestyler. So what do you have to say about the semifinal?
Yeah, I knew beforehand because I was lower on the bracket that I would be the one to start that battle. So if I would face Boyka there, which I did, I wanted to set the standard on all round because he usually has stronger lowers than me. So I wanted to set the bar on all round and do as good all round as possible. And then if he would do lowers, I want to be the one who reply to his lowers and not the opposite.
Yes.
So
Okay.
that was my thinking there. So
And why is that? So for example, because you know he will always start with either P or PATV or PMATV or something like that. And do you then think, oh, he's gonna do 3 rev to no touch, I'm gonna do maybe something that has more variation, so you're gonna go more alternate to Zanis or Abbas, or so you try to beat him in that way in the lowers?
yeah, because I can't really beat him in 3 revolution tricks.
That's what I mean, yes.
But the area which I can beat him on is having a lot of different stuff in lowers. Like
Yes.
yeah, what I did in that battle was like Pal Around the World and different L2 revs and alternative elements, Tosani, cross,
Nice.
and yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you do
different
so
stuff,
you,
yeah.
you throw it more towards the variety, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I find that super fascinating. The way you think about like the starting of the battle and setting the standards on some aspects, because that's something that only really good freestylers can think.
Yes.
You know, like if I went to a battle, I would be like just like hoping that the opponent like drops the ball and I can strike, but
Yeah, but
I don't have the means to set any standards.
well, it's a bit like, like a real football team has a good coach, but in a way, a freestyler is his own coach. So I think,
All right, yeah.
so I think in the case of the both of the Fagalis, I think they win their battles at the drawing board already.
Yeah.
They're better prepared than the others.
Yeah.
I really think that is half of the work.
But I mean, of course, like
It's in here. It's in here.
Yeah,
That's why they win the battles.
and it's super cool to hear you say it, like how you think, because I literally often, like when we get to the semifinals, my heart is racing so hard that like the strategies and all that I'm just forgetting. I'm like being the ultra fan on the side. But all right, so next up, world final against Jesse, who, by the way, was so sick throughout the whole competition.
Yes.
So tell us about the final.
Yeah, the final is, of course, it's just about getting everything out. You wanna show everything you have saved up if you have something left. I had a few moves left, so and that was also a battle where I knew I would be the one to start. So at that moment, I really wanted to bring another different lower combo, just not necessarily 3 revolutions, but high difficulty in other areas. So I started with cross pallet trick no touch combo, which I didn't understand why I dropped it after that. I actually zoomed in on the ball when I dropped it, and I hit right on the sticker. I don't know if it's an excuse or what it is, but
it's okay. If someone can have an excuse, it's you. We believe you.
No, but yeah, first round was maybe not my best round. I dropped like 2 times, but after that I was actually really happy. I came in a really good all-round flow. I I felt the control on the ball all the time, and I was able to do calculated risks. So even though I know some of the moves I did are really difficult, I still felt like it's very possible to do it now, and I have to do it. So
Nice.
yeah, and also, of course, Jesse's especially second round was really good. So yeah, it's a 100% battle where you have to
Yeah.
do everything.
Did you face Jesse in Super Bowl semifinal this year, or was it
No.
Brynjar?
Brynjar, yeah.
Okay. So because from my point of view, Jesse improved the most between Super Bowl and Red Bull Street Style. I mean, well, you guys are on kind of your own galaxy, but Jesse kind of really stepped up the game from Super Bowl to Red Bull Street Style, and with the crowd pleasing tricks, and that he fired up the crowd, and of course
Yeah.
when he faced you again in the final, it was just kind of like meant to happen. It was very super interesting because it felt for a little moment it felt like Jesse could really challenge you, and of course he did his best, and it was a super good final.
Yeah, he had some really good moves throughout the whole competition, and yeah, maybe he was telling me the same after the competition, that his lowers didn't feel that good on the stage. So if he would have been like perfect in lowers as well, that would make him so dangerous, because his all-round moves, and now he's really gotten his own style now with the heel stall while on half
Yes,
of your
that's
hands.
crazy.
If you-
Yes.
Yeah, it's so difficult.
Do you know if it was 5-0 or not? I can't remember.
I don't know. No.
We should ask Kavi a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just real quick before we let you to the backstage, the moment when Sean pointed you for the victory, what went in your head?
What I got was goosebumps. Maybe not because of him pointing at me, more just like the whole picture of like just the moment, I would say, just the audience, and being happy with my performance and everything. But at the same time, it's like I'm kind of still in a focus mode in my brain. So I don't think in the moment, have feelings that easily available, if you know what I mean, because I'm still in like, I have to perform. But I remember like at the moment, I got like goosebumps, and
Wow, and besides that, you're also a village boy from Norway. you don't party too hard on stage.
Maybe not the loudest person.
No, it's great, man. It's great. I really liked that you were like going on your knees. You were like, oh yes. I kind of saw that focus thing. It was really nice.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's a special moment, and like I said, it's hard to imagine how does it feel to achieve that and get the reward in form of the victory. But anyways,
and actually, like after,
please go ahead.
A few minutes after, it's like I'm thinking about, did they expect like a big emotional response from me there? Like give them that just to. But I want to be real. I don't want to overreact because someone, expects that. Yeah.
Right.
But afterwards, after the competition, it was amazing.
Yeah, we saw you at the after party. We know, no, joking. No, always good, always well behaved, man. It's good. It's me that's misbehaving, not you.
Anyways, let's go on with the show. At this stage, thank you so much for joining, Erlend. We'll get you back to the stage a little later. But next, it's time to move on to another world champion.
All right.
Okay, so Erlend, amazing. Like Lukitjal is saying, Erlend is just an alien.
Kind of. Yes.
I guess to some extent that could be true. But I'm so excited to get the next person on stage from UK, Leah Lewis. Well, let's just get Leah on the stage and hear all the things from herself.
Yes.
Wow.
There she is.
Leah, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for coming Friday night at this late hour. Red Bull Street Style victory in pocket. How do you feel?
I still can't get over it. Like, I keep saying this. It's like, it's my first World Championship title. It's always going to be the most special one. But I still wake up every day thinking this has just happened. Like, I keep saying I still can't get over it. I mean, I was so surprised. So surprised.
You know what I really like? You know what I really like? In your first sentence, you come onto the show and you say, "This is my first title," which implies that you're going for many more.
Of course.
No, but I like that. You're ambitious. You want to win titles. You want to train hard. I really like that.
You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for it this year. When I came to Red Bull, I wasn't ready for it. I didn't really expect it at all. But now that it's happened, it actually feels like just the beginning for me. It's, if anything, it's more of like a confidence boost for me to go back next year and actually feel ready for it and feel like more confident about it. But yeah,
That's interesting, because for a lot of people that are at a different point in their career, most men, they're freestylers, they first freestyle for 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, and they have this lifelong dream of becoming a world champion. Then they become a world champion, and that's usually the point when they stop. So a world championships for most people is the end, but for you it feels more like a beginning somehow. That's really an interesting thing for me.
yeah. I mean, for me, I was probably at like 40% of capacity on stage. I mean, I was really nervous because it was my second competition. So I didn't really like show my biggest tricks, or I didn't like take too many risks. And I don't know if it's something I regretted afterwards. I mean, I won it, so it's great.
Yeah.
But like, I still have it in my mind that like, I know I've worked hard and I've got like so many more tricks to show and like so much more to do. That's kind of like my motivation to come back next year and like do better in a way. But like winning is great, but I also want to like push my level and show my level as well. I think that's where my mindset is at the minute.
You know,
Love it.
I know this one guy who was also like, you know, winning is nice, but what I really want to do is like push my limit and show my best level. What was the name of the guy? Erlend.
Oh yeah. Exactly. He says the same things. You're right. Yes.
Yeah. And that's why I'm getting goosebumps, because I'm thinking like, in female we've had Kitty, Melody, Agushka, and then, well, those three have been like competing for the world title basically all the time. And then when they weren't competing, there was Liv Cook from UK won one
Yes.
Super Bowl in between. But basically, those people have always been taking the titles, and now you came in to mix it up.
Yes.
I was going to say mix it up a little, but I hope you mix it up a lot.
Yes.
But with you, I want to ask, like, how did you get into freestyle? I'm not sure if I asked you this before, but like, how did it happen?
Well, I was actually, it's a long story, but I was a dancer before, and I went to, like, I did dance all my life, and I always thought I was going to be a professional dancer. And I got into like a conservatoire. So I did 3 years of like studying dance, and that's the step before becoming a professional. And then I graduated and I became a professional, but then I didn't do any auditions for any companies or anything like that. I wanted to be a performer like so badly. I've always wanted to be a performer, but I couldn't like deal with dancing anymore, especially like after those 3 years. I found it really hard. And I came across like videos on social media of, actually it was Jack Downer. Do you know the street planner? Yeah. So he's like the first one who introduced me to like freestyle, and he does freestyle, but it's completely different. It's Panna, but it's still a form of freestyle. And I found it so interesting because like I'd never heard of it before, and he was like, there's only 2 girls who do it in the UK, and they're like performing around the world. They're doing all these shows, and I'm like, this is my dream. Like, this is what I want to perform. Like, but in dance, it's so hard because there's so much competition, so many girls who do it, and it's really hard to get to the stage where you can, you know, tour around the world and do all these shows and stuff. So like at the start, you know, I was 21. I was like, it was either starting freestyle and giving 100% into it. Like from the day that I discovered it and the day that I thought, you know, maybe I've got a chance in this, like I know I was pretty late, but I've always had a mentality of like, you know, working every day, like being strict and stuff, like with dance. So yeah, from the start, I was like training every day, and I was really bad. I had no talent at all in freestyle. I was terrible. But I've never played football as well. But yeah, I mean, that's
if I may say something, sorry. I do think you have talent for body control, which is very usually, you know what I mean. I don't think maybe you had no talent for kicking the football. Yeah. You're good with controlling your body, which is very essential for freestyle.
Yeah, maybe that's one thing. Yeah, but it is completely different. Freestyle is completely different to dance.
So you couldn't even kick up the ball, no?
No, I couldn't. Right. And I've still got videos of me 3 years ago, like not being able to do a footstool or like kick-ups. But it was just the thought of one day I could be performing around the world doing freestyle football. That kept me going. And in the end, now it's not my goal anymore. I don't want to be a performer anymore. Being through all of that, now I want to compete. That's my goal. I want to compete. Actually, to be honest, that's the only goal. And I don't know why it changed, but I think it's just the adrenaline of it, and it gives you challenges, and it gives you like a lot to work for, and you've got to put a lot of hours and a lot of dedication into it. And I think it's just, I mean, it makes it all worth it. Like going on stage that week in Red Bull makes all the work worth it. Even Super Bowl, you know, it makes it all worth it.
Nice. Right. That's so nice to hear. But I think in general, I don't know what you think about it, PG, but I think this year both Super Bowl and Red Bull Freestyle, their level's going up a lot within the women's scene.
Absolutely. And I think it's just because now girls like you are coming in with kind of fresh tricks and you know, bringing something new to the table. So the old things can't, like, you don't win with the same solution anymore. Actually, we have a viewer question, so let's get this. Annika, a Finnish sounding name, Swedish also. Leah, did you ever had to deal with a serious injury since you started freestyle?
I've never had like a serious injury, but before Red Bull last year, I twisted my ankle. That's probably the worst. But it wasn't that bad. But yeah, I'm just doing all the slaps. I don't know why. I just twist my ankle. Yeah, I've been really lucky so far. Like nothing. I've been in like good physical health, luckily.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
that's that. It's I think maybe something that you could have brought from dance is like the body maintenance, how you like stretch and
yeah.
stuff like that, avoid
Of course,
injuries.
I
Um,
stretch like before my sessions, after my sessions. Like you don't realize how important it is to stretch until you get injured. You know.
Yeah, or
But,
41 like me.
I'm starting to sweat when we start to talk about stretching. But what I wanted to ask before we get into the competition this year is that who people did you train with? I suppose you kind of started training by yourself, but surely you've been training with someone at some stage, or what do you think?
So I actually started training with a guy called Scott Penders from UK. He competed at Super Bowl, I think, a couple of years ago, and he lived like next to where I live. So I got in touch with him, and I trained with him at the very start. But then I just went by myself. After a couple of months, I had enough motivation. I had like the basics. So then I just trained by myself for like a year and a half, 2 years. And then recently, this year, I trained a lot with Mo Omar. I don't know if you know him from the UK as well. And he does a lot of
Yeah.
slaps and a lot of blocking.
Yeah. He
Comments.
does a lot of football content as well.
He does well at the minute. He
Yeah.
does a lot of football content, but that's
Yeah.
that's social media. But
Yes.
a lot of his style. I really like his style. And there's a lot of tricks that he did that I thought was so impressive, like slap lemons and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you know? Do you? Because the thing is, you sometimes get. How shall I say this? Like I sometimes feels a little bit that you're. When people introduce you, like Lorenzo, oh, it's the TikTok girl and this and that. I think sometimes, I mean, no offense, Lorenzo, but that's not really fair because I think you train really hard. You know what I mean? Like, is that a bit annoying that some people say like, oh, it's the girl with the content and with the long hair, and it's all not really relevant when you train, is it? Like,
It's completely irrelevant, if I'm
Yeah.
honest. And it does frustrate me quite a bit because it kind of
yeah,
it takes away like my work and stuff. I'm just used to it now, but like
Yeah.
when people ask me, "Oh, how has TikTok changed your life?" I'm like,
irrelevant. Yeah,
it's irrelevant. Like
Yeah.
it really is. So yeah, like that's why I kind of I roll my eyes when people say, "Oh, like even my battle against Joanna," they were like, "This is the TikTok battle."
yeah,
Please don't, because
yeah.
like hours and
And
hours.
I was feeling that kind of the cringe that was in the air. I was like, oh.
Yeah. It's, but
I'll-
it is what it is. But also, it's kind of a motivation for me to like. I mean, it's not my main motivation, but of course, it's enough motivation for me to like prove people
Yeah.
wrong. Even though I don't train to prove people wrong, but it does
No.
feel good when I prove people wrong. That I'm
Well, I
not
mean, now you've won a world championship, so now they will introduce you as the title defender. So you already
yeah,
fixed
well,
it.
if they mention TikTok again, I'll just be like, oh,
Oh,
come on,
yeah.
not now. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're going really long with the show today, but of course we have high value guests. But let's take a look at the grid. Let me find it. Here we go. So, yeah, the first battle. I mean, the excitement started in the draw dinner already. Leah, Joanna. So, could you tell us about this battle?
I was actually really happy to be battling Joanna. I get on really well with her, but also I love her style.
Yes.
And I know we have tricks that we can reply to with each other. So when I found out I was battling her, of course I was nervous because she's amazing. She's a really good freestyler. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I thought this is going to be really entertaining. It's going to be a show. I just thought I want to put on a show with her. But I know she mentioned to me before, she said out of everybody, she didn't want to battle me. She
All
said
right.
that I was the one person she didn't want to battle just because we are quite similar
Yes.
in what we do. So I did have that in the back of my mind that she didn't want to battle me. So I don't know if it made me a bit more confident when I went on stage. I was just like, you feel pressure and I don't feel pressure in a way. I just really enjoyed it, if I'm honest. I think that was probably my favorite battle out of all my battles.
Who started the battle? I can't remember.
She did.
She did, so you could reply. All right, that's nice. Do you prefer to start or to reply?
At Super Bowl, I preferred to start because I think I was more confident at Super Bowl. I think because I knew everybody, I felt more confident. Red Bull, I was very, very nervous because I didn't know the audience. I didn't know who they were going to pick. Like, the audience have their favorite. And as soon as I got on stage and I heard them shout my name, that was kind of okay, it's
That's cool.
okay.
Yeah,
I think I was very lucky, but I wasn't nervous as soon as I got on stage, but I'm still glad I went second against Joanna because I like to see what she starts with.
Course, yes.
And yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
well, I mean, that battle was
Fire, man.
fire and also for me one of the best battles. And I think it was super tight also, 3-2 if I don't remember
No,
wrong.
it was 5-0.
Great,
really?
Peggy, you didn't do your homework.
Okay.
But the thing is, Joanna
my
is
bad.
as ambitious as you are because she really
Yeah.
wants to become world champion. You can feel it, you can see it, and she's
Yeah.
also not too shy to admit it.
She's amazing. I have so much respect for her because when I was battling her, I saw how she reacted. She was like, "Your turn. You get
Yes.
it." She
Yeah,
was like,
yeah,
"I've
yeah.
shown you what I can do. Show me what you can do." And I was like, I really respect that. If anything, I think she has probably the best battle mood out of all the girls. If I'm
Yeah,
honest,
yeah,
her
yeah.
and Melody. I don't know if it's a French thing, but I just think,
think
they're
so.
like, here's what I can do. Show me what you can do. And I was like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm up for the challenge.
Well,
It's,
you're half French yourself, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's. I think Joanna is. She's super stylish in like how she battles.
yes.
But okay, so now we have Joanna dealt with. Next, you got Caitlyn, and actually, I was kind of secretly hoping this battle to happen because Caitlyn, you could say that she has created some kind of style that the block thing that not just girls but like for example Skora does these days. I think
Yes.
that was originally from Caitlyn, so she's
Yes.
kind of the creator in some things that you also sometimes do. So what happened in that battle? What do you
Well,
think?
listen, Caitlyn is my favorite female freestyler, and she's the one like that I was inspired by when I started freestyle. I saw
Nice.
some girls do lowers, and I was like, "Oof, I don't like the look of lowers." But that's my personal preference. That's why you don't really see me do lowers because I've been working a lot on my lowers because I know it's important for competitions, but I'm really into aesthetics and
Yes.
how it looks like. So I was like, if anything, it felt like an honor to be battling against Caitlyn. I was really
Nice.
happy to be there with her, but I also knew there was a lot of pressure. Obviously, people wanted to see the battle. Not just you, everybody was saying they wanted to see the battle.
Yes.
Again, there was a bit of pressure to put on a show, but also when I started the battle, and I started with my hardest trick, which is like a Jordan stool, rolling the ball up,
Oh, that's so crazy. That's right.
Yeah.
which is my hardest trick, and I was very, very nervous to do that, and I managed to land it on stage,
Yes.
which gave me a bit of a boost of confidence as well because I got the hardest trick out of the way, and also in that battle, I tried not to do anything that's too similar to Caitlyn. Like,
good idea.
actually, in any battle, I try not to do anything that's similar to the other girls. I try to like stay as close to my own style as possible because I didn't want it to go down the road of copying because I know I wouldn't want to reply to Caitlyn with her tricks, you
Yes.
know. Even if I could do them, like I tried not to. I tried not to.
But that makes sense. I think that's a good tactics of winning a battle in general, to do something that's hard to compare.
I must admit something that every time I talk with you, because you've been in freestyle for such a short period of time, so I always think that there's something, you know, that you might have like not noticed in freestyle, but always you surprise me. You know the community, you know how the community like the code, if you know.
Yeah.
And in the battles, the code of not biting and all that. So it's just I love it, man. Like keep it up, you know, because the community is everything in freestyle.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I did my research, of course.
Yeah. But I mean, you did your research, and for that, like I give you even almost more respect than winning the world championship, because that is like so good for freestyle that the world champion is like a community member also. But amazing, like just amazing. I'm so fired up to hear your thoughts about battling Caitlyn and all that. But okay, so
Did you think you were gonna win that one? Sorry, Peggy.
It was very. I was 50-50 because
Yeah, me too. I was also 50-50.
dropped
Yeah.
in her second set. She dropped a lot at the beginning,
Yes.
so that's the only reason why I thought it was 50-50. But because I knew that I did that creative trick at the start, I was like, maybe that's gonna level the creativity with Caitlyn, because she's such a creative freestyler. But again, yeah, 50-50. I was really hoping for it, but I was more leaning towards Caitlyn, if I'm honest. More leaning towards her.
Nice.
Was this battle 3-2 or 5-0 also?
3-2, 3-2.
Come
Oh,
on,
that's
come
the
on,
one.
let's go. Okay. Okay. So, next
Fine.
grand final against Aguska, who was also in the final in Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
So, rematch. What happened in the final?
Well, my mindset at Super Bowl was a bad mindset, because I went to the finals thinking I've already lost it. If I'm honest,
Oh yeah.
I don't know whether I felt guilty, whether I didn't feel ready, but I was watching Agushka and I was like, you are incredible. And I was like, you're amazing. Like, I want to be like you in a way. I kind of put my hands up, but for Red Bull, I almost fell into the trap of being like, this is done already. But I remember Jasmine, actually, just a couple of minutes before going on stage, Jasmine was like, Leah, stick to what you do best. Don't try and do anything to reply to her. And she told me, be yourself. And I was like, do you actually believe I can win this? And she was like, just be yourself. Like, don't try. And, you know, it was that chat with Jasmine that made me think, don't give up. Like, try your hardest, try your best, and don't lose confidence. And, like, my main thing going up against Agushka was to have clean sets, clean performances. And it was probably my worst battle against Agushka. I don't think I did anything crazy. I didn't make the ball drop throughout the whole battle, and that's like the one thing that I was able to do. But if I'm honest, like, I was probably at 30% against Agushka. I just stayed really consistent, really clean, and I did watch her battles, and I did see her drop the ball quite a bit. So I was like, in my head, you know, I was like, just don't make the ball drop in a way. But, you know, I do want to come back. I do want to battle her again when I have, like, because obviously, like, I didn't have much confidence when I was against her, but I do feel like I'm more confident now, and I would want to show, like, more bigger tricks in a way. But, you know, I'm still happy. Like, it was a clean performance, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, I think it was all in the mindset. It was kind of just almost I didn't feel confident enough going up on stage against her. But she's so different. Like, she is so different. She's
a legend.
She's the opposite to me, you know? So it's really hard. It was less enjoyable because I didn't really know if I could reply to her or something. But, you know, yeah.
In what way do you mean she's opposite to you? Like, can you elaborate a little bit?
With Agushka, I think Agushka and Fernanda, they're the girls that are very different because Agushka does hardcore lowers. I think in the female scene, I think she's probably the best, at least the girls that are still competing now. I think Kitty, obviously, Kitty's
and Laura Decker also before.
Yeah, but out of the girls who are competing this year, Agushka does crazy lowers that I wouldn't be able to reply to at the moment. Although I do have lowers, but I didn't want to make the ball drop, if I'm honest, because I knew that would be my weakness if I made the ball drop. So I didn't want to take the risk of making the ball drop, basically. But she does lowers and she does uppers. I don't do uppers myself. And yeah, she does transitions, to be honest, but it wasn't much for me to be like, oh, you can do that. Let me show you what I can do, you know, in a way.
Yeah. So when the battle was going on, did you like hear the Jasmine's word in your head? Just stick to the plan. What do you do best? And
that's exactly what it was. I honestly, I am not joking. It was Jasmine's words.
And you know why? Because Jasmine always makes this mistake herself. Because I always tell her this. Because Jasmine always wants to reply with lowers, and then she drops it. She gets frustrated, and then the battle is over. So it's really interesting that she tells you that, because she knows how it is to get dragged into this. I must reply the lowers. I must reply lowers. Yeah. It's the most common mistake that freestylers do. So it's really good that she told you.
Okay, so the battle is over. Kitty comes to the stage. So there's 2 world champions, and when she points her hand, there's 3. What happened at that moment?
Well, I had to look at her for like a few seconds to be like, are you sure? Are you sure it's me?
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
I was like, no, seriously. I was like, what? Like, I thought I was going to faint, if I'm honest. I didn't think I was going to make it. I thought I was going to collapse. Like, when she said that, I was like, in my head, I was like, what has just happened? And then it was like such a sigh of relief because, like, if I'm honest, I kind of killed myself before Red Bull and before Super Bowl. Like, I trained like crazy, and like I didn't have the best time, if I'm honest. I was in the studio all the time, and I was getting frustrated quite a lot. And it was a massive sigh of relief, being like, the work has paid off, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was like, how is Agushka feeling, you know?
Yeah.
And then Agushka like came to give me a hug and stuff, but I was shaking, I was crying, and I can't really remember what happened, if I'm honest. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I think it shows really well. If you look at the video, you can see this whole roller coaster of emotions. Yeah. You see that Agushka is slightly confused as well, because she's used to winning. She's like, oh, wait, that wasn't my hand. What's happening? And then you couldn't believe it. I see you standing like, what's happening?
Yeah.
It was good. It was good TV, I can tell you. Yeah, it was really nice.
That's the thing. I mean, Erland was saying, did I do enough, like, to please the people? Because you expect a reaction and stuff. But, like, I'm sorry if I couldn't give any more. I was just in such shock myself. I wasn't going to, like, throw my hands up and be like, yay. I was just like, really? Yeah.
Oh, nice. Love it.
It's a feeling I will literally never forget. Never forget it.
Amazing. Okay. Well, I guess now...
Let's get in, everyone.
Yeah, let's get the other guys in, and let's see what you guys have in your mind for near future. So, Erland and Javi, welcome back. Let me
Thanks.
do some little arrangements here. So, we can have the stars on the top. So now Red Bull Street Style is over. The season is over basically. The freestyle season of 2021, and what a season it has been. What next? What do you look forward happening next year?
Who are you asking?
We can go first.
Well, hopefully, like all the competitions, they stick in the real life, like not streaming. Hopefully, Super Bowl goes back to the big number of people that we were going, and Red Bull Street Style happens in life.
Okay, Aaron, what about you?
Yeah, for me personally, it's back to training soon and just try to keep evolving my freestyle. And hopefully as well, we will get competitions live with a lot of people, but not only competitions, maybe more freestyle meetings as well, which I think is very healthy for everybody, for the community. And hopefully we'll just see each other more often.
So, when you guys are watching a competition, joining a competition, can you enjoy someone else's battle, or are you too focused on your own? Leah, for example.
Oh, I enjoyed watching the girls. I love seeing the girls, and I love seeing what they do. And I'm almost like, this isn't a battle, this is a show. I mean, not a show, but like I was always encouraging the girls and being like, if they've done a crazy trick, I'd make sure I watch it and like be like, this is great.
And you, Erlen, do you enjoy other battles?
Yeah, to some degree, but on the competition day, I often envy the people who can just watch, who can just enjoy everything and just be in the moment and watch the battles live. So because I have to focus on myself, so I can't really watch everything, but of course I see
I recognize this because I usually do the commentating, which sounds really fun, but I'm always sitting on the third floor in a little room watching on a little screen like that, and I never see the battles for real. So so I know how you feel sometimes. I can't really enjoy it too much, but
I see.
Erlen, I want to ask, like, because you heard what Leah has said now, and there's so much similarities in the way you think. So what do you think is gonna happen now that she's like wanting to push her limit, and what kind of advice you could give her, because you got quite a few titles yourself.
Yeah, I think she already has a really good mindset, and just have to do what feels right for yourself. And I don't know. It's hard for me to give tips to Leah because personally I don't know her so well. But from what I've heard now, she's got really good mindset, and I really agree with what she says. Like, it's bringing new stuff and new levels, and to show your best on the stage is I think that's the most important, more important than winning. So just evolve and make freestyle better.
And one point, what I must say, I love how Leah thinks the competition as a show, because I think the better competition, the better the show. The tighter the battles, better the show. The more the sicker atmosphere, the better the show. And of course, it's like you have to do your part. The judges do their part. Me and Daniel in the commentary booth, we do our part for the sad people who can't be on the live show, of course. I think that's just a lovely way to see the bigger picture.
Javi, what was your favorite battle of this year's Red Bull Street Style?
Well, for example, Erlen against Tristan. I mean, Tristan is like, he has
great
potential.
Brynja, you mean?
Brinjar, sorry, Brinjar,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
Brinjar against Tristan. You know,
Yes.
I really like how Tristan is like improving and developing tricks, and that guy is like, next year I don't want to know what is he gonna do, but yeah,
Yes.
he's crazy. And for example,
Hey.
I enjoyed a lot also the Hiroki Gabriel Park
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it was interesting battle, like really interesting battle.
It's like nothing you would expect. When you think of a freestyle battle and you will see this, it's like completely different thing, which I love.
Yeah, that's what I like. Like, for example, one of the things that I look the most when freestylers are competing is like they show their own thing,
Yes.
their own flavor, their own tricks, and that battle was that kind of battle, because wow, Hiroki is like all about details. I mean, when you see
Yes.
Hiroki, you need to analyze every movement because some of them are so small, but they are
Yes.
so hard to do it. And
Yeah.
well, that's crazy. And Gabriel Park is like, well, he do crazy things, and he was one of the freestylers back in Super Bowl that he didn't have any drop in his battles. Like he was the
Yes.
only one.
He
Yeah,
had
and
no drop in the whole of Super Bowl. That was crazy.
dropless in qualifications and all. That was crazy. Like, how can you do that?
But I
Yeah.
think he slightly underestimated Hiroki. I
Yeah,
think he
that's true.
saved a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true. Like, he was saving a lot of things, and sometimes you need to, take care of this.
Yeah, that's not a good idea against a Japanese champion. Never a good idea.
When I was watching that battle, I was thinking in my mind that, like, how would I judge this battle? Do I need more education? Am I stupid or what? Because, like, I just can't decide. But of course, I was also like in very fan mode. But that just made me thinking. It went so deep in my head, the battle, that
Yeah,
Gabriel Parker doing.
it was a hard one, like a really hard one.
Yeah.
But when you have like the criteria in your head, it's just
Yeah.
about like analyzing from that point of view. But
Yeah, I
it
think-
was like a really hard one.
I think if that was like Super Bowl battle where you have to think overall, then
Yeah.
you need to like any freestyler judge has to get their mind. If there's some battle like, let's say some easy battle, you can clearly see he was or she was better, she should win. But usually, Gabriel Parque against Hiroki, that's some battle that makes your like processors go like.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's because you can't do your regular things. You cannot
Right, yes.
you cannot do 3 rev is better than 2 rev or
Yeah.
this position harder than this one because everything has to be processed. That's why it's different. And I don't know, Gavi, you also judged JFFC in Japan, right?
No, I didn't judge. I was just.
Because I was judging. There was 123 competitors, and almost all of them were Hero K level. My whole brain was completely destroyed at night. I was like,
at that time,
what's
when I
happening,
went-
man? Like,
Yeah, it's like you sit down and you are like, every freestyler is completely different. I mean, in top 16, they do completely different things. So sometimes you are like, okay,
Yeah.
now how would I judge this thing?
shall I tell you something funny? Hero K went out in top 32 in Japan. But he didn't even make the final day in Japan, but he made the world finals.
Oh my
So
God.
that's how good the level is in Japan.
Wow.
Crazy.
Hey guys, we're getting really close to the end. The director of the show is beeping in my headphones. Just to wrap it up, I must ask, from Leah especially, what is your favorite trick?
The transition probably I did, the rolling up,
Yeah.
the Jordan Store roll. I don't know what it's called. So
But
I don't know.
It's a new trick, so you can name it.
I don't
Actually,
I think it's
you
been
can name
done-
it right
I've not
now.
seen it, but I'm sure it's been done by a French guy somewhere in France, somewhere. somewhere.
It's always been done by someone.
Yeah, it's always been done, but it's your signature move, so maybe we could call it the Leah move.
No, I'm gonna get so much. If I start naming something,
Louis move?
just call it the French move, probably.
French move. Okay, okay. You know, guys, I must say, when I was training a long time ago, in Finland we didn't know what was the name of nori clutch. And you know, you do nori clutch, you can do it from when you toss the ball in the air and handstand and catch, or you slide it from the next stall. So we called the catch from the air Asian catch, and the you know, the nori clutch when you slide, we called it the Asian slide. Just
Oh, nice.
Jason?
a little
From
bit
Norway?
of freestyle legacy from Finland.
Well, actually, if I can be a smartass, if you throw it up in the air and catch it, that's not a nori clutch. It's only a nori clutch if you roll it, but... Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, man. The catching is just a catch, that's not a nori clutch.
Yeah, hamstring catch, right? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But anyways, Erlen, what is your favorite trick?
It's very difficult to choose one because I like so many different, but I guess the obvious one is what I call the Earl and roll, the one where I toss the ball up and go for like a front flip motion. It's not like a front flip, but when it rolls down, so like from the right angle, it looks. I think it looks pretty cool.
I think it looks pretty
And
dangerous.
it's really satisfying to do, at least.
It looks like it. Is it hard?
It's, I remember in Super Bowl when I saw you like testing on the stage, and I was like, "Goodness me, if that happens in a battle, you know." Okay, so that's called Erlen roll. Is it?
Yeah, at least I call it that. So yeah, I guess.
If you call it that, then everyone should call it that. Okay, Javi, your favorite trick, and then we go to the final thing of this.
Yeah, for me it's
episode.
very clear. It's not a trick, but cheese no touch.
Oh, cheese no touch. Yeah, okay.
I really love the idea of the cheese no touch.
Maybe you
So,
should explain for the viewers what it is, because not all the viewers know what a cheese no touch is.
Okay, I think it's an invention from a Danish community. So when you are training no touches and you try to do a score no touch, that I think everybody knows, like when you drop the last trick, and for example, someone asks you like, "What did you do?" and you have to say, "Well, I did the score no touch, but I didn't put the last AMA TV no touch." That's very long to say. So the best thing is to say, "I did cheese no touch." And
Nice.
Now the For Revolution shirt sale goes like stonk when people know what it means.
Finally.
Okay, guys. But hey, I must say this has been, from my point of view, the best episode, by far my favorite episode with you guys. And I want to wrap it up to this this question that haunts freestyle community probably forever. What do you think about Super Bowl being held in Hotel and not in Slavia? Do you prefer it this way?
Perfect ending.
I don't. It's luckily it's history of
Two
freestyle.
different things.
I know. This question, David Crespo, thank you for asking this. I'm not laughing because it's not a stupid question, but
No, it's not.
I just love how much it means for
Yes, yes.
freestyle. Like
I know.
it's
about the
Slavia
details.
is like it's a freestyle temple, you know. Yeah, the stadium is freestyle temple, and the hotel next to it is like where pilgrims go to, you know, feel the holy vibe. And goddamn, it is like holy place for freestyle. It's Hotel Slavia.
Yeah.
Leah, do you know Hotel Slavia?
No,
No,
No?
no. The only Super Bowl I've ever known is the one this year. I don't know how it was before.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, but right. Well,
We do a different
if you-
episode on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Deserves.
you know, once you go to YouTube, you put Super Bowl, if you watch enough videos, you start building understanding what is Slavia. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Huge thanks for the viewers, everyone who tuned in to watch the episode. Amazing thanks for Javi, Erlen, and Leah. Thanks, Daniel. Actually, next week we have really exciting episode coming up. Daniel, would you like to introduce that before we?
No, let's
go
keep
on
it a
with
little
our
bit
Friday night?
secret. We haven't got all the guests confirmed yet, so let's keep it a little bit secret. So.
Okay. Anyways,
But it's a
thank you
good
for
one. It's a
joining.
good one.
It's gonna be a good one. Thank you for joining, and
Thank
Good
you
night.
very much.
Thank you, everyone.
See you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.